It could be considered that this attraction has a wait time of negative 30 minutes, meaning that 30 minutes worth of people, in this case 500, could show up throughout the hour and the attraction's wait would still be 0 minutes, because these additional guests are merely filling empty seats on the ride. You might recall that this was one of the problems with the original reservation system pitch from the mid-90s. If a guest missed their reservation, they left an empty seat, and thus the attraction lost capacity. FastPass not only avoids this problem, but it actually helps other attractions at the park. Without FastPass, 1,900 guests rode the Octagon. With Paper FastPass, 4,800 guests rode the Octagon, an increase of over 150%. But the average posted wait time never breaks 0, because these people are filling empty seats and increasing the capacity of the ride. This explains why with FastPass, despite most attractions' standby waits rising, guests on average waited less, because unlike with no FastPass, guests were actively being pushed to attractions with 0 waits, which dropped the average overall wait per attraction. However, with FastPass Plus, this 0 wait threshold is broken in most cases, as with the Octagon, which previously went from a walk-on to an average of a 15-minute wait. The average standby wait in Shapeland with FastPass Plus is 67 minutes, but the overall average wait per attraction was 42 minutes. This is interesting, because while more people are skipping the line more often than with the original FastPass, the rise in standby waits throughout the park are so significant that there is no change to the overall wait. In fact, the average overall wait per attraction with Paper FastPass was 2 minutes less than FastPass Plus. FastPass does reduce average overall wait times by encouraging guests to go to underutilized attractions, so long as those exist. Finally, let's look at the average number of attractions ridden. And if you've been paying attention, you should already know the answer to this one. In the park with no FastPass, guests ride an average of 3.31 rides. But really, the distribution looks like this. 22% of guests ride 2 rides, 21% ride 3, 16% ride 4, and the percentage declines from there. You can also see that around 13% of guests only ride 1 ride and 3% ride none. These are mostly people that favor activities and have a limited amount of time in the park. When the original FastPass system is added, the amount of attractions ridden increases, going from 3.31 to 3.77. With FastPass Plus, we again see an increase, jumping to an average of 4.23 rides per guest per day. On average, almost every single guest gets to ride 1 additional ride with the new system. This is significant and proves FastPass Plus's merit as a tool for guest distribution. But it's not the full story. This is the distribution graph that we viewed earlier for when Shapeland has no FastPass implemented. This is what it looks like with FastPass Plus when the average amount of attractions ridden increases from 3.31 to 4.23, assuming that the distribution is even and the system is fair to all guests. However, that is not FastPass Plus. This is the actual distribution graph for Shapeland under FastPass Plus. As you can see, more people experience less attractions, and more people experience a lot more attractions, while less people are able to do what could be considered a reasonable amount of attractions, in this case 3 to 7 in a single day. With FastPass Plus, more guests are able to experience 8, 9, 10, 11, and someone found out how to do 39 rides in a day. These are people that got fast passes for long waits like the Triangle and spent most of their time riding shorter waits like the Octagon over and over again. Meanwhile, the amount of people riding only 2, 1, or even 0 attractions is up from no FastPass and is far more than in the ideal FastPass Plus distribution. This is because the waits for rides like the Triangle, Square, and Circle are so long that if a guest chose to wait in it, they didn't have time to do anything else. Other guests want to ride rides, but they don't want to wait over an hour. So if they enter during midday, they instead choose to eat a meal, gift shop, and then leave because the waits are so high throughout the park. So yes, FastPass and FastPass Plus increases the average amount of attractions ridden per guest per day. It's a system that pushes people to go fill empty seats around the park. And as a guest distribution tool, FastPass and FastPass Plus works. But in practice, from a guest perspective, the system benefits those that use the system and know how to use it well, while those that don't use it or don't know how to use it well have it much worse than they did before. So at this point, your mid to late 2010s trip to Walt Disney World might have some additional context. Perhaps you even know where you land on this distribution graph, and I can probably predict your opinion on the mid to late 2010s trip to Walt Disney World might have some additional context. Perhaps
boom! Yeah! Oh my god! Oh, it's a massive world record.
If you were here,
yes! Woo! Oh my god. Oh, wow.